Well, today there's an orientation of members of the Eastern Cape Legislature at the East London ICC. Now, this is a prelude to the swearing-in of the members. Abongile Jantjies, SABC News reporter, is currently watching events. Let's cross live to him. A very good morning to you, Abongile. Tell us, is this normal practice for members to actually have an orientation ahead of the swearing-in of members?
Well, Alicia, those are some of the things that we are going to find out from the legislature when we speak to them. You understand that there are two new parties in the legislature which will form part of the 7th administration. That is to give them the processes of the legislature. You'd understand that the actual swearing in and the election of a premier will happen tomorrow in Bisho, where the legislature lies, and the legislature says it's all systems go to prepare for those new people. I understand that the Patriotic Alliance has 2 seats, with the MK party has 1. Let's bring in the secretary to the legislature, Umama Unomawetu Ngakani. Ma'am, thanks a lot for your time. My colleague is asking about this process of orientation. Some people are saying it's unheard of. Kindly take us through the importance of it.
Today, yes, we are at the East London ICC, because tomorrow we're preparing for the first sitting of the 7th term administration, now that the lists have been handed over to us by the Chief Justice on the 6th of June. Those that will be sworn in as members, because we have new members in the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature. There are some that have come in returning from the 6th term, but we also have new members. So it's important that we are able to prepare them for what is to come tomorrow, so that when the House proceeds tomorrow, then the decorum of the House is very important, that it is maintained, that everything goes smoothly. And therefore today we are here with them to do the pre-orientation process, that they understand what is then expected of them as members when they are sworn in, what is then the process of swearing them in. And also, we also need to verify and ensure that all the members that will be swearing in tomorrow are those that are then in the list that we have been provided. So therefore, this process of today also allows us to also do that verification.
Take us through the beefing up of security and what can we expect tomorrow. We've seen in the past that there's been unrest before during your State of the Provinces address. Do you promise to have a smooth sailing ceremony?
Legislature is a national key point, and therefore it means that in terms of the act that makes it a national key point, there is always security in the legislature. We have the South African Police Services from the moment you arrive at the legislature at the gate. In that process, we have ensured that all those that will enter tomorrow, they have accreditation. As you've seen yourselves, we have made sure that you will not be able to enter, even as media, if you do not have your accreditation cards with you. And our process at the gate also not only just looks at the accreditation, it looks at also verifying the individual against their ID. We've got a scanning system that will scan you through, and then you'll be taken in through to the House. So we make sure that no one who is not supposed to access the legislature accesses the legislature, because in terms of the National Key Point Act, access is very, very guarded in the legislature and parliaments. And once you are to enter the House, there will be again further verification by our protocol officers to make sure that they only allow those people that are eligible to be inside the House, and also people sit where they are supposed to sit. Tomorrow, when the candidates in that list arrive, they are not honorable members. They will only be members once they are sworn in. And tomorrow there are no debates, but it's a process of swearing in the members so that they take an oath or an affirmation, depending on their beliefs, where they take an oath to affirm or affirm their faithfulness to the Constitution of the Republic in preparation for the work that they are to do. And thereafter, then we will then follow with the election of the Speaker, because remember, there is no House until there is a Speaker, and therefore we cannot have proper proceedings of a normal House without a Speaker. But the process will be convened and presided over by an acting Judge President Lambulela, who will then, as delegated by the Chief Justice, of course, in the provinces, he will then preside over the swearing in of the members and the election of the Speaker, as well as the election of the Premier tomorrow.
If it wasn't for these newbies, would we have had this orientation today?
It is important, whether it's new members or returning members, because our environment, things change. There's changes in legislations, there's changes in policies, the changes in the way that we do things. For example, in the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, where our chamber, the Raymond Hlaba chamber, as we know it, when you go in tomorrow for the first sitting, they will see that there have been changes even in the sitting arrangements, because with the increase in numbers, in the 6th term was 63 members, but then those were then increased to 72, as informed by the increase in the population of the Eastern Cape, the census results. So now we have, therefore we had to renovate our chamber to make room for additional seats, to make sure that we accommodate 72 members. And we also made sure that we also take the opportunity in that renovation to make access for persons with disabilities to be able to access the legislature, especially if we were to have members that have then got those kind of disabilities.
Ma'am, thanks a lot for your time. Alicia, as you heard there from Nomawe to Ngagane, the Secretary of the Eastern Cape Legislature, taking us through the importance of this orientation. Some are saying that it's something unheard of, but she's there justifying it. Well, we expect the ANC chairperson, Oscar Mabuyane, to take the reins again as Premier of the province for this second term. He's amongst the 3 people who have been elected by the party's Committee on Deployment. So we shall bring you more as things unfold here.
All right, that is SABC News reporter there, Abongile Jantjies at the East London ICC.